Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are we getting on? Welcome to a brand new Fallout video. So as you may be aware, I don't generally make videos on specific weapons, although I might change that to a degree in the future. We'll see. But on this occasion, I thought I'd make an exception as I've been having a huge amount of fun with this particular weapon, and a few of you guys have mentioned an interest in it as well. So let's have a look at Grand Finale, shall we? Okay, so here we go, Grand Finale. This is, as you can see, a unique broadsider, which has been added in the recent update, Nuka World on Tour. I've been running around and playing with this for about a week. Playing with a broadsider has been something I've been wanting to try out, just to see how it goes, for quite a while. And this one, it turns out, is darn good fun. So, not going to say this is the most effective gun in the game, or should be the new meta, or anything like that. I generally avoid all that stuff anyway. But what it is fun, and that's the key point, I think, here. So let's have a little gander at what there's going on with this for the moment. Okay, so there we go, Grand Finale. As we can see, a broadsider. Got a few little upgrades over here. The paint comes with it, obviously. Put a grip on it. Stuck the multi-shot canister on it, so I don't have to reload after every shot. Just after every 3. So we've got damage resistance while reloading, 2 shots, damage while aiming, and increased damage and explodes with fireworks. So really good fun. I'll throw a few bits of footage of this thing in action up as well, and I've really been enjoying it. It comes from the new Seismic Activity event, which is the one with the new world boss, the Ultrasight Titan, down at Nuka World on Tour. And yeah, it's one of the drops you can get from that. It's really good fun. I like it a lot. So yeah, as I say, this is definitely a very, very fun weapon. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's going to be a new meta or anything like that, but generally speaking, it seems to take out most enemies in 1 or 2 shots, assuming you get a pretty direct hit. It's got the 2-shot thing going on, but for the most part, the 2-shot thing doesn't really kick in until really quite a large distance. So with most guns, if you've got 2-shot on there, yeah, it'll up the damage a bit, but it tends to come with a cost in accuracy. But if we have a look at this one, you see, sometimes it's surprisingly precise. If we point it at that tree there, for example, I missed altogether. There we go. Both of them hit the same tree. Now, normally those would go flying off separately and would miss. So let's try this one. There we go. 2 cannonballs, 1 tree. Whereas with another 2-shot weapon, you'd find both bullets would end up missing the tree altogether. This one, a little bit of variance in there, but on the whole, surprisingly accurate. And quite fun to play with. So once you get to a much larger distance, well, maybe you can have a little bit more deviation there, but at this range, it's pretty darn cool. So, I'll show you the loadout I've got going on for it with perks and stuff. I don't know that this is necessarily the absolute best it could be, but it's good fun. We'll have a little look at some footage as well. Okay, so let's have a little look at the loadout I've got going on this one. So, I've got slightly more than the usual number of special points in at the top here, courtesy of legendary perks. So we'll have a quick look at the ones I've got on here. A couple of power armor related things because they're handy. Usually more for other builds than this one, but still handy nonetheless. Ammo factory is a must. More for other builds again, but yeah, ammo for this is not too bad to get. Honestly, just take the thing into a daily op and you'll come out with more than you could ever need by a mile. It's really, really easy. Like 2 shots to kill and you get something like a dozen cannonballs back. It's great. So I've got my luck boosted up, so I've got 5 extra points there. Got my charisma up as well to give me a few extra points there as well. So that's why we've got a little bit extra. Let's have a look at what we've got. Obviously, over on the strength side, we are maxed out because this is a heavy gun. So there is heavy gunner, master, regular, and an expert as well. Got all those maxed out. You can chop and change for other ones if you like. Bare arms, for example, lock and load, stuff like that you can see down the bottom there would be potentially good. Block is always good as well. If you want to drop maybe 1 point off each and then put one of the other perk cards in down there, you could do. But honestly, don't really feel like I need to. I like having that little extra damage boost. So I've got bullet shield as well, so I get a little bit of extra damage resistance while I'm firing it. Not such a bad thing. Got to admit, bare arms wouldn't be a bad thing because this is quite heavy. And this is the one that you really do need to have in there, and that is bandolier, because the ammo on this thing weighs an absolute ton, and this does absolutely reduce the weight of it, so well worth having that particular perk. So on perception, I've got fire in the hole because I use grenades a lot. And Grenadier to increase the detonation radius of the projectiles, and my grenades as well. Fireproof, because this thing is an explosive weapon as standard, so if you're shooting things close by, you are going to get hit with the splash damage. Fireproof is pretty much a must, well, most of the time, but definitely with this one. A couple of useful things on the charisma perks. Got Lone Wanderer, because I'm antisocial. Field Surgeon, because, well, why not? Travel Agent, because I resent paying for fast travel. And Tenderizer, because multiple attacks, extra damage on the subsequent ones, always worthwhile. Over on Intelligence, I've got Demolition Expert to increase the explosive damage. And I've got Gunsmith so that it doesn't break quite as fast, because it is worth noting this gun does break quick. You will spend a lot of time repairing it, at least every couple of hours anyway. So worth bearing that in mind. So over on Agility, I've got Action Boy, because I loathe running out of action points. Stamina systems suck, IMO. White Knight as an absolute must, because repairing armor gets expensive after a while. Adrenaline, because I've got a couple of perk points to use, so it's worth having for a little boost to your damage. Definitely worthwhile. And Dodgy, because, you know, taking less damage is always a good thing. Over on Luck, we've got Bloody Mess for 15% extra damage. One Garment Army, so we've got Stagger and Cripple chance from our heavy gun. Ricochet, because I've got the points available, so why not? Deflects shots back at the enemy, and I don't take damage every once in a while. 18%, that goes quite often, really. Especially with enemies with automatic weapons, so quite a handy perk if you've got the slots for it. Class Freak, so you don't get the negative effects of your mutations, or nowhere near as much. And Starch Gene, so you don't accidentally cure your mutations. So, fairly standard setup for any particular build, really. There's nothing remarkable about it. But it does the job, puts out a decent amount of punishment, and as we can see from a little bit of footage, it's kind of fun to play with this thing. I really enjoy it. It's really nice to just sort of stand there and mortar things from a distance, and it's just kind of chill. It's not a particularly fast weapon, but you can kind of kick back and just pot shot at things and destroy them. I would say, if you're a VATS user, this is probably not the gun for you. But I'd say rather than avoiding it, I'd say avoid VATS and try it anyway, because you really don't need VATS for it, and it's really well worth playing with. It's a lot of fun. You can just kind of kick back and take pot shots, and yeah, you definitely don't need the VATS for it. It's not particularly hard to hit the target. And if you miss, well, it's got a lot of splash damage on it anyway, and it's 2 projectiles for each shot, so the splash damage is even bigger, so you're going to probably do a decent amount of damage anyway. You just follow up with the next shot, and that'll mop up the rest. So, yeah. All in all, I really like this gun. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the very cool things that have been added with the Unique World on Tour update. Most of the new weapons that have been added, the uniques specifically, do have some cool additions to them. They're quite good. As the variations go, these are pretty decent versions of unique weapons, so they're not bad. I think this is probably the best one, and definitely the most fun to use. Others may feel differently if they're into different types of builds, but just for sheer straight-up fun, sitting on top of things and just popping away with a naval cannon and blowing things up and having fireworks come out, and having the gun actually be effective at it, it's really quite good fun. So I would urge you to try it if you've got the perks and the spare levels and all that available. Especially with perk loadouts being what they are, it's definitely worth giving it a go sometime. It tends to be what I spend my extra levels on, swapping my loadouts from time to time to do something a bit different. And yeah, I would strongly encourage you to play with this one because it's good fun. But on that note, I will leave you to take a look at a little bit more footage on the way out. And yeah, I hope you find this interesting and enjoy having a little look at what this gun can do. And yeah, maybe give it a go sometime. I hope you'll have some fun with it. I certainly have been. If you're interested in seeing me shoot stuff with this, then we'll of course be live streaming, continuing Fallout, and we are playing Callisto Protocol as well at the moment, which has been interesting and somewhat stressful in places, but good fun nonetheless. I'm really enjoying that game, so do join us for the live streams if you get a chance. As always, down below the video, likes, subs, social media links, merch store, notification bell, channel memberships, all that good stuff. If you're interested in supporting the channel in that way, it really helps out, and I do very, very much appreciate it. Massive thank you to everyone who's done that already as well. And yeah. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to speaking to you all very, very soon.